Uncle Stuart, I don't know what excites me. I don't even know who I am. I just don't know. People tell me so many different things. People say, you gotta start on electric. You gotta start on acoustic. No, classical is the place to start. I don't know what to do, and I'm just so afraid and ashamed and lost. And I just need you to tell me, what should I get for my first guitar? Friends and relatives, I am extra excited to record today's video. Why? Because I promised myself that once I was finished recording, I could eat lunch. The age-old question, the ultimate choice, acoustic or electric guitar? Literally every day of my life, someone asks me some stupid question about electric versus acoustic. I legitimately love every single one of those stupid questions. I answer like 2% of them, and I ignore the rest. I'm a busy man. What do you guys know about virtual assistants? Is it a good idea to hire a virtual assistant? What would I even have them do? I like editing my own videos. I like making my own thumbnails. I like responding to comments. Like, if I could have them work out for me, I would do that. But let's talk about electric versus acoustic guitar. People of the world, friends and relatives, my name's Stuart Alexander Lehman-brown, and we're going to talk about acoustic versus electric guitar. I'm just talking about steel string acoustic guitar, not nylon string or classical acoustic guitar. You might look at yours and go, no, mine's steel string. Look, there's steel. There's metal on them, I can see. Look at the skinniest strings. The bottom strings, see on mine, those are clearly metal. On the classical or nylon string guitars, the bottom strings look like clear plastic, but the top ones are wrapped in metal still. So do not be deceived. So like I said, we're not talking about classical guitars, mostly because I don't have one and I don't really like them. Look, I'm gonna draw you a picture of a classical guitar so you know what I'm talking about. That's a classical guitar right there. You can tell because it has holes in the headstock up here. If you look at my guitar, there's no holes. That's what she said. First big thing I just want to get out of the way immediately. They're the same instrument. They're both just guitars. They are the same instrument with the same technique, the same chords, the same scales, the same notes. You play them exactly the same. To actually answer the question, electric or acoustic, the answer is both. They sound different. They're both fun to play. They both have pluses and minuses. Have one of each. But if you're picking out your first guitar, you saved up $300, or you have like a combination birthday, Christmas present coming up, or you have limited space and you're like, Uncle Stuart, look, I'm just getting one. I'm not gonna run out and buy 2 guitars all at once. Fair enough, fair enough. I will help you answer the question, but if you learn on electric guitar, you can switch to acoustic guitar anytime you want. If there's a song that's traditionally played on acoustic guitar, you can play it on electric guitar and it's gonna be perfectly fine. Any song that you can play on one, you can play on the other, and it will still work, and it's still a good time, and we're all friends, and I'm not mad. It sounds like I'm mad, I'm not mad. But let's talk about the differences. Sound differences. I mean, there's the obvious that we can hear the difference. If you play this, and then you play this, they sound different. You can hear that there are just tonal differences. In general, this is such a worthless video. Why am I making this? A lot of people like to describe acoustic guitar as having a warmer sound than electric. I don't think that's true at all. I think acoustic has like a bright, twangy sound. Electric guitar, you can have it sound bright and twangy or dark and gloomy. You can just by changing the settings on it. So whoever said acoustic guitar sounds warmer than electric, it's just wrong. It's just false. Okay, so now I am mad. Guys, I'm angry. You guys know what acoustic guitar sounds like. Sounds like acoustic guitar. And you know what electric guitar sounds like. Sounds like this. But then, of course, with electric, you can adjust it and make it sound all dark and muffled. You guys have heard acoustic and electric guitar before. Electric guitar has a little bit more like versatility as far as just changing the sound using this and the, of course, obviously there's like the, oh my goodness, distortion you can add to it and effects. But the one thing you can't get from electric guitar is that acoustic guitar sound. Why? Look, we don't need to talk about the different sound, and we don't need to talk about the different looks, because you guys can see them. It's like you know what they look like. So I don't need to say this one's thicker, this one's thinner. I think you guys know that stuff. Look, I don't understand why you asked me to make this video in the first place. Okay, but what about maintenance? Is one of them easier to take care of? No, not really. Like, the electric guitar, it's easier to make adjustments, but you still have to know what you're doing with those adjustments. The acoustic guitar, some of the adjustments are a little bit trickier to make, but also I feel like you don't have to make them as often. So I would say that's like a wash. Acoustic guitars, I guess, are a bit more fragile, right? You can, like, the wood is thinner, so it's easier to break them, but they're still pretty sturdy. I've never really broken an acoustic guitar before. I kind of have, but not to where it wasn't playable anymore. So as far as maintenance goes, it's pretty much the same thing. Like, you might have to make little adjustments to the nut or little adjustments to the bridge. Like I said, making those adjustments is a little bit easier on electric, but it's not a big deal. So, okay, I'm just desperately trying to find something worth talking about. Let's talk about the playability and the feel of the instruments. This is where I will say there is a substantial difference that you may not be aware of. On electric guitar, you typically don't have to push as hard to play the chords and the notes. On acoustic, you kind of have to like really dig in, and it's gonna hurt your fingers a bit more. On electric, it's still gonna hurt your fingers a bit, but you don't need the just sheer strength to play chords. This is kind of a blessing and a curse. On the acoustic, if you kind of have like a heavy hand, then the acoustic will actually be a little bit more forgiving. Whereas on electric guitar, if you squeeze too hard, it can you can bend the strings out of shape and it messes stuff up. If you have a light touch, then the acoustic guitar, the electric guitar will probably be a little bit nicer for your fingers. But again, electric guitars typically, not always, but typically have skinnier necks, so it's a little bit easier to wrap your fingers and thumb around them. Also, the bodies are obviously smaller, so if you are a tiny person or you just don't like, I don't know, if you wish you were a tiny person, then the electric guitar might just be a little bit more comfortable. But the truth is, these are kind of minor. Like, once you've been playing for a few months, none of these will really matter, in my humble opinion. If you haven't noticed, the theme of this video is that there are some little differences, but they're the same instrument. They're the same instrument. I'm building up to where I tell you what I think you should do. But first, we gotta cover a couple more stupid things. Expense. What about the cost of these things? Well, I would say for both acoustic and electric, you probably don't want to spend under $200. If you get a new acoustic or electric guitar for like $150, it's probably pretty bad and you're probably going to be extremely frustrated with it. Once you get to that $200, $220, $230 price point, then you can get some pretty good guitars. Like, I think you guys know, I really like Yamaha guitars. This is a RevStar, which is a bit more expensive. It's like $500 or something. Yamaha Pacificas are in that like $200 to $250 range. This is a Martin. This is like $2,000, but a Yamaha FS or FG 800 is like in that $200 to $250 range, and those are really good acoustic guitars. So for a quality electric or acoustic, I would say you're looking at a similar amount of money. However, the old amplifier and cable and effects pedals, for electric, there's a lot more accessories that you could buy. An amp, I would say, is about this. You probably want to spend at least around $200 on an amp. They have ones for like $99. They work, but they don't sound good. What do you want me to say? The $99 amps don't sound very good. Wait, that's not true. Actually, I don't know how much this is. Blackstar's little mini amps. Actually, I'm a fan of these. Not a sponsor. I just like them. I don't know. They might be like $300. I have no idea. Stuart, really good video. Thanks for doing your research. I'm glad that you care so much about us. No problem. Look at this though. Look. You can play an electric guitar unplugged and you can still hear it. You do not have to get an amp to practice electric guitar. You can get an electric guitar for $220 and then a year later buy an amp. That's fine. You can still learn songs. You can still sing and play. You can still do all of that stuff. Great, fantastic, amazing. The only thing that's left is the looks, right? I mean, they look different. That's like with cars or what's another thing that has a look to it? Cars have looks. Water bottles have different looks. Shirts, clothes have different looks. Haircuts. Guys, these are all things that are just personal preference. I can't review how a guitar looks. You just look at it and you go like, that looks cool or that looks stupid. I, for instance, unfortunately, think that Fender Stratocasters look kind of dorky. I think they sound and feel so good, but I feel like a dork when I'm playing. I'm not talking about you. You look very cool when you're playing your Squier Strat. I'm very happy for you. Not my personal taste for me and my body. And you can't tell me how to feel about my body. Did you hear that? Okay, Stuart, I give up. Why did you make this video? You're literally just saying, I can't help you with this. There aren't any real differences. Nobody cares. That is the point of the video. The point of the video is to tell you that they are the same instrument. Ultimately, it does not matter which one you start on. You can play any songs on either. It doesn't matter. That being said, the annoying answer is you should buy whichever one makes you most excited. When I was a child, the first guitar that I bought was an electric guitar because I thought that acoustic guitars were stupid and dumb, and I thought electric guitars were cool and rad. So if I had gotten an acoustic guitar, I probably barely would have played it. But instead, I got an electric guitar, so I played it literally all the time. That's not true. Figuratively, literally all the time. But I know what you're thinking. Oh, golly gee whiz. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Uncle Stuart, I don't know what excites me. I don't even know who I am. I just don't know. People tell me so many different things. People say, you gotta start on electric. You gotta start on acoustic. No, classical's the place to start. I don't know what to do, and I'm just so afraid and ashamed and lost. And I just need you to tell me, what should I get for my first guitar? Get a steel string acoustic. The Yamaha FS 800, not a sponsor, but it's just, I have one, but it's in my other office. And it's just, I have two offices. Guys, come on, chill out. Hey, there's enough of me to go around. A guy with two offices, 9.5 fingers, I'm fine. I lost my train of thought. With an acoustic guitar, you don't even have to think about an amp or a cable or effects or any of that stuff. It just simplifies that whole deal. It's very portable. You just get a soft case for it and you can just bring it anywhere with you. You can get them for relatively cheap, like I said. What else? They're extremely versatile. You can put stuff in it. Like I could put paper in here. Like I said, maintenance on electric is a little bit easier, but on acoustic, you just kind of don't have to think about maintenance as much. Big one here. Like I said, you do have to push a little bit harder, but that does kind of train your hands maybe a little bit more. Just like maybe, I don't know. That one I'm kind of stretching. But the main thing I'm trying to say is, at this point in my life, I am more excited by acoustic guitars. So that's what I'm recommending. But remember, it's whatever you are most excited about. If you are clueless, steel string acoustic. The reason why I hate classical guitars so much is because, one, I think they sound stupid, but mostly it has this really wide, flat neck. So you have to like reach up really far to reach all the notes, and it's really tough to get your thumb up over the top, and the strings are spaced all far apart. A lot of people say that because the strings are spaced far apart, it's like easier for people to hit the right strings with their fingers. I don't buy it. I was a beginner guitar player once upon a time. I have taught literal hundreds of beginner guitar players. Do you know what most of them think about classical guitars? They think they're uncomfortable and they think they sound weird. Also, the strings like roll around. When you push on them, they like, on this guitar, you push on it and it just pushes. And you go, there, it did it. On the classical, it's like they wiggle all over the place, guys. I'm sick and tired of things wiggling all over the place, if you know what I mean.